So, we're starting a Dwarf Fortress playthrough on a volcanic island. Neat. Someone recommended that they wanted to see an elephant embark, but there is an awful lot of trees here. I mean, I'll try to resist cutting them down. Yeah, but we're going to probably need to make beds at least a little bit. And we have actually some interesting minerals here and a lot of clay. So we can actually get quite a few industries set up real quick. And I managed to make it so that our embark has at least a little water so we can try some fishing. And thankfully there's no swamps, so it probably won't deplete. Now let's see here. It looks pretty good. I don't see any bees. Yeah, termites. But there is a pool of lava here, which means we can have all sorts of interesting good stuff going on. Islands tend to mean we don't have a lot of fun when it comes to invasions. But, as any good dwarf knows, we're going to dig deep. Perhaps too deep. And there is an aquifer. I have yet to successfully dig through an aquifer without at least a few dwarven casualties. So let's get going. And let's see. Let's harvest all these things. And okay. So we're off. I'm not sure how people enjoy watching these things. I mean, I enjoy watching a couple other YouTubers when they try it out because they usually have some interesting stuff when they talk about. Okay, so we have the expedition leader Zuntir. Sounds like Gunter. Okay, he felt love as he was caught up in a romance. Good for him. Ardent worshipper of Fesh, and I don't remember him popping up in our little spelunking adventure. But he feels satisfied at work, and he felt fond as talking with a friend. Okay, so we're off. Now, the whole playthrough I have planned out for this is we're going to make a bank. Now, in Harry Potter, goblins were the main bankers of their world, and I go, why not dwarves? I mean, we got all the good qualities. We're greedy. We live underground. We have all sorts of access to rare resources. Okay, we're not as greedy as goblins, those green boogers. Yeah, I have a friend. Now, he said booger all the time. However, when he found out it was a dirty word, he kept saying booger. But we all knew that he was actually saying bugger. Yeah, things like that. And I thought I told you to dig. But things like that really let you have fun, right? And you actually have to do it downstairs instead. Yeah. So I've been playing Dwarf Fortress for about 3 years. I think I got on with version 40.25. Yeah. I know that it was actually a couple months before the Tavern Temple release, and that was a whole lot of fun. But when I actually made a scholar for it, 3 years, 6 scholars, they were just sitting around doing nothing. And then they made one book. One. Of course I published it. But it didn't make us any money. I mean, I know you're not supposed to make forts for money, because your dwarves don't really need a whole lot to actually feel good and survive and stuff. And we have harvesting, and I think I'll start the farms here. I think I'll have a staircase for it, where each floor has a certain thing it does. Now let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. And that'll be a farm, and I think I'll set up some stockpiles here. Yeah. So Dwarf Fortress, it's a bit of an odd one of the bunch when you're talking about gaming. Because it has a cult following, but it doesn't really follow any of the other things that other AAA games do. Or any game, really. I mean, supposedly inspired Minecraft. And I remember reading an interview by Toady, the guy who made this game, and he said that, yeah, he he isn't a huge fan of Minecraft, but he says the problems with society, not Minecraft itself, if I remember correctly. Which is kind of odd to me, but hey, I love his game, and yeah. I mean, it pretty much simulates everything. I mean, it doesn't simulate quite everything, but it does get a good bunch. I mean, it has actual fluid dynamics. Fluid dynamics, for Pete's sake. Yeah. Thankfully, I don't have to calculate any more fluid dynamics. I mean, goodness gracious. And I know these farms are small, but there's only like 7 inhabitants of our fort. We struck aluminum, right? Oh my goodness. And I'll use DF hack to make sure to get all of it. I mean, I remember when I used to play vanilla before I found the starter pack that had the DF hack. And boy howdy, when you try to find ore, like all of it, it was a headache and a half. Because I dug giant trenches trying to find everything, and when I did, I ended up missing so much. Unless it was kaolinite. I mean, it's pretty hard to miss any of that. And let's get some farms started. And for some reason it isn't planting near the clay. Or it only plants in clay. I thought that was clay, but it... basalt. Dang, I thought it was... Yeah, texture packs. Make it actually so your eyes don't bleed when you're playing Dwarf Fortress. I mean, I never had a problem with the ASCII tile set. To me, I actually could read it pretty well. But when I was trying to get one of my friends to play Dwarf Fortress, yeah, he just couldn't take it, so we looked together and we found the starter pack that had the tile set. And I'll admit, it has its charms. Makes it actually readable, for one. What are these weird ore things? Date palms. Oh, we can get date palms. And, yeah. And I think this will be the workshop area. Yeah, it's kind of boring if we don't add any twists or turns. Yeah, one of my greatest forts I ever made. It looked like a hyena, the way I set it up. It was gorgeous. Unfortunately, I think that's the fort that I lost to the Weregila. Because I did not know how to set up a militia. And let's set up some workshops. Well, you can't win them all. And organically growing a fort by digging out the areas you need actually makes it look more interesting, in my opinion. And we're going to have to do some stuff here. And I think I'll finish this up soon, because we're almost through with the beginning setup. Yeah, my friend, it was pretty fun playing around with him, but he didn't know how to play the game at all. Like, I remember the first fort he actually ever did. Okay, let's go with this. Avuz, a miner. So we still have alcohol. Good to know. Oh, I should probably... Worshipper of Uzul granite boulders. A good dwarven name for a god. And let's set up a broker. Yeah. I hope you guys are having at least some modicum of fun or enjoyment out of this. Because I am. So, I'll try not to chop down any trees, as I said. But look at all that wood, and we need beds and bins. Maybe I should just try to import it. Yeah, I think I'll have to import. But I don't think they sell beds. But if I remember correctly, they sell bins, at least. So I guess we'll just go on a tree massacre every time new migrants appear. Yeah, like one of my earlier games, I did not know it, but I was part of a struggling civilization. And shortly after I built the fort, and like a migrant wave or two, I did not get any migrants. And it didn't even say your fort attracted no migrants. So I was so confused. And then I found out that, hey, your civilization died. You're the last remaining dwarves of your civilization. And I was like, oh goodness. Man, these dwarves, they sure picked an unlucky one. So yeah, let's get a carpenter shop. I actually tried to make a mod for Dwarf Fortress a while ago, and it went okay. It's just getting those tokens all set up is kind of hard for me, and I had a lot of other stuff to take care of, so it kind of fell to the wayside. More aluminum. Golly. So, the whole point, I hope, for this fort is to have fun. Yes, even that kind of fun. And make a bank, and let's see how this goes. Oh, well, yeah. You guys know how about the whole losing is fun thing, right? So, one time, remember that buddy I told you about, how I got him to play Dwarf Fortress? His first fort, everybody died. And I'm not talking just a couple dwarves. I mean, all in one fell swoop. He lost it to a werebeast that just hopped in and tried to do stuff. And oh my god, you should have seen his face. Like, he was actually getting into it and understood it. And when all the dwarves were dying and everything was going wrong, I just wrapped my arm around his shoulder and whispered into his ear, "Losing is fun." Oh my god, he doesn't play Dwarf Fortress all that much anymore. But I like to think it's worth it, you know? Just that one moment. I mean, do you guys have any Dwarf Fortress stories? I mean, playing this game for a while, of course everyone has at least a couple. Do I have an anvil? Did I remember to make an anvil? Metal shit? No. Let's go with the magma smelter. Hopefully that's enough. Magma smelter, magma glass furnace. And there is clay, so let's get some kilns up and running. That song, you know that carnival song? It's actually called Enter the Gladiators. I know how to play at least a basic version of it. When I found out, I go, really? Enter the Gladiators? I mean, really? I mean, it's just such a happy and bouncy song. We're talking about gladiators. Like, these guys who fought and bled for entertainment. I mean, I guess the dissonance just really struck me when I heard the name. So, ooh, basalt. Reminds me of another fort I had. I mean, I like playing the fortress mode because it's more of a strategy game for me, and I just love strategy games. And what am I missing? Masons, still, a crafts workshop, and of course I prioritize the still over the crafts workshop. Of course, I mean, who doesn't? And let's do plump helmets, quarry bushes, dimple cups. You know, for the longest time, I did not know what dimple cups did. Because I didn't make clothes. I just imported clothes by selling off tons of gold. I mean, all of the gold. All of it was mine. And, yeah, but it actually makes a blue color. I wish that there was actually a dye mechanic, because we can actually design our own figures. And I remember that update. I was like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. But now that we can actually design like what the figurines do or what materials we use, I want a dyeing interface where we can dye patterns into clothes. To me, that would be really interesting. And maybe if we can like dye them with cultural patterns or with deities and stuff, to me that would actually be a fun addition to the game that allows for more something. I mean, I know right now he's really busy with artifacts and the myth generator. And oh my god, we can actually send dwarves off the map. You know how big a deal that is? For the longest time, our dwarves were trapped in this box, forever unknowing of the world outside. Only the caravan and liaison officer telling them what's going on. But now we can actually interact with the world at large. I mean, it's no dwarven economy, which is what I really hoped for. But it's a step in the right direction. And this guy's been updating this game for like years. And to me, that's pretty great. And do we need doors? Nah, who needs privacy? They're dwarves. And I go, like, I was going, yeah, there's married... I was explaining to my dad what Dwarf Fortress is like, and I go, yeah, there's a bunch of married couples, and I haven't built a single door for them. And he goes, really? I go, yeah. He goes, really? I go, yeah. And he goes, you sure they don't need privacy? And I go, Dad, I'm giving them 3x3 rooms. They don't need anything more. I mean, some people, they give them rooms like this, and even this is quite a lot. But I like to give them 3x3 rooms because, I don't know. To me, it just looks nicer. I mean, it's like workshop spaces you have to set up for workshops. And to me, that's what it should be like. Because dwarves are just merely another product. But yeah. Have any of you ever read the Red Mars series? It's talking about the terraforming of Mars, and there was this one company, and he's talking about how the products that Mars puts out aren't all that valuable, but the socio-infrastructure, the people, that's where the real money is at. And to me, that's actually quite profound, because in our society, most currency and most of the products of value in today's society is information. I mean, even YouTube itself, it makes a lot of money from advertisements, which is a form of information, like trying to make you aware of certain products and information exists. And to me, that actually really struck a chord with me. Yeah, I thought about settling in a desert. That way I wouldn't have all the temptation of chopping down all these trees. But I decided not to because, well, I really wanted to mess with lava. Last time I did, I actually ended up like digging somewhere here, and I actually made a trench from about here to an open space, and that just let all the lava out. It killed a couple of dwarves, and it was a mess. So I kind of gave up. And I think I'll wrap that up for today. I guess we'll see if anything really fun comes up, and I'm wondering where all those aquifers are, because on the embark screen there was a couple of aquifers. And if you're wondering, and if I haven't said it, this fort's name is Crescentvaults, the first dwarf international bank. And the group is called the Curse of Greed. And I know I have said that before, so I'm probably repeating myself. Well, I hope to see you guys again, and hopefully you enjoyed.